Hi there. The current situation is making us rethink just about everything. And as we remake our work, we're asking some big questions about who we are and what we do as an institution here at the university. Political theorist Danny Celermajer and ethicist Wendy Lipworth have been helping the culture strategy this year think through our university values, including those of respect and integrity. Here they join us to share some of their thoughts on what it means to act with integrity right now.
Danny, we're living through some extraordinary times, or what many people are calling unprecedented times. And I'm wondering whether you think things will eventually get back to so-called normal, or is this more of a time for us to reinvent our mission as university academics?
What we count as normal has always had deleterious effects for some members of the university community. Women in particular have been expected to integrate the double work shift into their lives. And perhaps now that large numbers of us are experiencing how impossible it is to balance caring and professional responsibilities, the pathologies of that normal will become more intolerable to us collectively. And second, the previously accepted ways of doing academia, working in silos, speaking to a small circle of our peers, are really now evidently hopelessly inadequate to the crises that we're facing. When the stakes are this high, the survival of the planet in relation to climate change or our survival in relation to COVID-19, that normal really needs to mean ensuring that our work effectively reaches out to publics and policymakers. What do you think, Wendy?
I think it's possible to put a quite fairly positive spin on what you're saying by framing the situation as, to some extent at least, an opportunity as well as a challenge. Our personal and professional identities have been taken apart, perhaps as never before, which means that to some extent at least it's up to us to figure out how we want to put them back together again. With COVID, all of our roles, both personal and professional, have become simultaneously disconnected and blurred. And we've lost some of our main sources of feedback about who we are. And I think it would be a real shame if we just all slipped back automatically into our old ways of doing things.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Another way of framing what you're talking about is in terms of integrity, which is one of the key themes for the cultural strategy. People tend to think of integrity as not being dishonest, not acting in ways that undermine truth and so on, but those are just the behavioural dimensions of integrity. If you go to the root of the word, it means intact, whole or complete. Hannah Arendt, my favourite political philosopher, writes about Socrates' argument that the reason that one would act ethically isn't because there are rules telling you to do that or because you're afraid of punishment, but because at the end of the day, you have to live with yourself. And he asks, who would want to live with a murderer? Who would want to live with a liar? Who would want to live in a state of duplicity with themselves? So bringing that to us as a university, the integrity question, I think, has to be, how do we become whole and complete when the personal, community and political stakes are so high? How do we create a work culture where people don't have to betray their profound commitments to political transformation, to their communities, to their planet, and also their professional responsibilities? The question is, and I put that back to you, Wendy, how do we navigate those challenges of integrity?
I don't think there's any simple formula for doing that, but I guess one place we could start is to think about each of our roles, how they might be reconstructed to create some kind of coherent new normal. One thing I would say, though, is that I think it's important that this isn't just seen as a project for individuals. I think the university and its managers at every level need to assist with this task. And we also need to figure out how to reconstruct our collective identity as a university, not just as atomized individuals. I think we're lucky there are many people who can contribute to this reconstructive project. And this is an opportunity to be really creative and generative. But it does mean that we'll need to tolerate a period of discomfort and not focus only on restoring productivity as quickly as possible.
Some big questions there about integrity and identity. Danny and Wendy remind us of how vital it is right now to reconnect with our purpose as a public institution. Whether it's research, teaching, or other contributions we're making to society, current events are only underlining the enduring value of the work that we do.